You ever see a business that's just absolutely booming and wonder, what's really going on behind the scenes? Is it actually as healthy as it looks, or is it just riding a lucky streak? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and learn exactly how to tell the difference.
So picture this. You walk past a restaurant and there's a line out the door every single night. It looks like the absolute definition of success, doesn't it? You're probably thinking, wow, now that is a rock-solid, safe investment. But is that the whole story?
Because that exact same business, the one that looks so successful, it could secretly be drowning in debt. It might be just one slow month, one single unexpected hiccup away from completely falling apart. You see, the key to understanding the real picture is knowing about two very different kinds of danger a company faces.
And those two dangers are business risk and financial risk. Yeah, they sound a little similar, I know, but trust me, understanding the difference between them is absolutely crucial if you want to see how healthy a company truly is.
Let's just break this down real simple, okay? Over on the left, you've got business risk. This is all about the actual business operations. The big question is, can it make enough money just from selling its stuff to pay the bills? You know, things like salaries and rent. The main threat here is simple, a drop in sales. Now look over to the right at financial risk. This is all about one thing, debt. The question isn't about sales, it's about whether the company can pay back the money it borrowed. The real danger here isn't a slow Tuesday, it's not being able to make those huge loan payments.
Okay, so let's dive a little deeper into that first category, business risk. You're going to see that it actually comes from two totally different places, threats from the big wide world outside and threats from inside the company's own four walls.
First up, we have what's called systematic risk. The easiest way to think about this is as the outside world risk. These are massive, market-wide forces that pretty much hit everybody, and a single company has absolutely zero control over them. It's like being a small boat in a giant storm. So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, think about a global recession where suddenly nobody has money to spend. Or the government passes a new law or a new tax that makes your key materials way more expensive overnight. Or maybe there's political chaos in a country where you sell most of your products. See, these are all systematic risks. They're big, they're external, and there's nothing you can do to stop them.
Now, the flip side of that is unsystematic risk. If systematic risk comes from the outside world, this stuff comes from the inside world. These are problems that are specific to just one company or maybe its direct industry. And here's the really important part. Unlike systematic risk, these are threats a company often can control. This is exactly why you hear about investors using diversification to protect themselves from one company's specific meltdown.
And this slide really nails how personal these risks are. We're talking about things like the CEO making a terrible decision, or the factory production line being super inefficient, or a marketing campaign that just completely bombs. These are all internal stumbles, self-inflicted wounds, really.
All right, we've pretty much covered business risk, so now let's switch gears and move to that other side of the coin, the danger of debt, which we call financial risk. When it comes to financial risk, the key word you gotta know is leverage. It's really just a fancy way of asking, how much borrowed money is this company using to keep the lights on? You know, a little bit of debt can actually be a good thing, a useful tool. But a lot of it, well, that can be incredibly dangerous.
And this quote right here explains the danger perfectly. If a company is highly leveraged, which just means it's sitting on a mountain of debt, even a teeny tiny dip in sales can be an absolute catastrophe. Think about it. Imagine two coffee shops with identical sales. Shop A has zero debt, but Shop B is highly leveraged. A slow month is just an annoyance for Shop A, but for Shop B, that slow month could mean they can't make their massive loan payments, putting them at risk of insolvency or going bankrupt.
So how do you actually measure this stuff? Well, investors have this great little tool called the debt-to-equity ratio. It's a really straightforward calculation that shows you how much of a company is funded by loans compared to how much is funded by the owner's own money. A high ratio is a big red flag for high financial risk.
Okay, we've covered all the theory. So now let's put it all together and see if you can put this new knowledge to the test in a real-world scenario. Let's see if you can spot the risk. Okay, here's the situation. A big global electronics company is humming along, and then bam, a new government regulation hits. This new rule slaps a tax on all the imported parts they use to build their products, which immediately drives up their costs. And here's the kicker. It's not just happening to them, it's happening to every single company in the electronics industry.
So, based on everything we've just talked about, what type of risk is this? Is it A, B, or C? Go ahead and take a second to think about it.
And the answer is B, systematic business risk. If you got that right, awesome. So why is that the answer? Because the problem, that new government rule, it came from the outside world. And it didn't just hurt one company, it hit the entire industry. It's a perfect example of a risk that is completely outside of any single company's control. Now just think for a second. What if that company also had a ton of debt? This kind of external shock could be the one-two punch that pushes it right over the edge.
So the next time you see a business that looks like it's crushing it, you'll know to ask the deeper questions. Is it just busy, or is it actually stable? Is it facing threats from the outside world, from inside its own operations, or maybe from the sheer weight of its own debt? The real story is always there, you just have to know how to look for it.